Hi, this is Claudia Mejia and this is DJA number 2. The first technique that I would use to help students comprehend content would be to use the document camera. In the textbook, Echeverria et al. Mentions on page 110, the use of technologies can provide students with that extra visual support. The document camera would allow me to display math problems or formulas so that the students can clearly see the problem-solving process step by step, and in turn facilitate their understanding of the concept being covered. During my student teaching, my mentor teacher used this technology to do real-time problem solving. It served as a way of interactive learning, and students were able to follow along and ask any questions that they had. I also like the technique of using graphic organizers. In the textbook, Echeverria et al. Mentions on page 110 that graphic organizers can make an overwhelming task seem less daunting by encouraging the students to organize new content such as vocabulary and key points in a way that is easy to understand. For example, during my student teaching, my mentor teacher would use tree diagrams to visually organize outcomes for probability problems. This would help the students with problems that had to deal with permutations and combinations. So the first way that I would present instructions for a task would be to record step-by-step instructions. I really like this. In the textbook, Echeverria et al. Mentions on page 111 that recording step-by-step instruction would allow students, especially English language learners, to listen to the instructions on repeat as needed in order to complete the task. The students would be able to access the instructions at any time through their Chromebooks, and this would also accommodate diverse learning needs. So it allows for flexibility, and it also is very accessible. Another way to deliver instruction would be in a written agenda or written instructions. In the textbook, Echeverria et al. Mentions on pages 107 to 108 that in the area of writing, students need very specific instructions, and written instructions can be beneficial for those that weren't paying attention, they don't understand, or they just simply forgot. So students would be able to refer back to these written instructions as many times as they needed. Like, this is what I've been doing recently with my classes, and for this class specifically, is really referring back to the written instructions because it helps to refresh the memory and clarify any uncertainties. So in order to avoid having students become confused about accomplishing your task, they can write a summary of the written instructions. In the textbook, Echeverria et al. Mentions on page 108 that students should have the opportunity to practice what has been clearly explained by the teacher. This allows them to process and really let the material sink in and reinforce their comprehension of what is being expected from the teacher. Another way from the students by the teacher. Another way to avoid for the students to become confused is to provide a lot of visual and examples through modeling. In the textbook, Echeverria et al. Mentions on page 109 that providing a model as the students are taking through task verbally removes any uncertainties and delivers a message in ways many students will understand. Modeling for the students promotes active learning in which they listen, process, and synthesize the information that's being given to them so that they're actually able to retain it.